So video number 2 for the 21st of January, we're going to do lower body. So we've done some breathing and we're going to talk about being seated for a long period of time. So with lockdown, including myself, when I was sick with the coronavirus, I had my legs outstretched and I was lying down quite a lot. So my hips were very tight. When I stood up, I found it very difficult to release my hips. So I used to do things like pelvic tilt standing, or I'd go to bed at night and I'd pelvic tilt with my knees bent, or I'd wake up in the morning and I'd pelvic tilt. So here's the thing, I just moved the chair out of the way again. One of the things we want to do is to release the hips, lengthen the lower back, because when we sit, bring the chair back, when we sit, what happens is we get tight here, we sit for a long period of time, maybe you've got your legs up like I was when I was ill, and we get very tight here. When you stand up, it's still tight. So you've still got that seated position when you stand up. The belly pops out, the shoulders roll forward. You don't realise the shoulders roll forward, then the head goes back and it all gets very tight. So we have to pelvic tilt. And even though I've got a few pounds on, we've got to get this lifted. So the chest is now lifted from all our lovely arm work. We now have to lift from pubic bone and pelvis. So tiger tail down, pelvic tilt under. I will pelvic tilt in the mornings. I will pelvic tilt when I brush my teeth. I'm pelvic tilting, and just open up the hip. But remember, to help you to do that, take a mini lunge. So the lunge, the whole femur bone has to come through. Now, do I put my heel down? No, because it turns out that takes all the pressure off the stretch in the front and it gives you a calf stretch. Great for a calf stretch, but not great for opening up the hips. So take the heel off a little bit and push through. And remember, tuck the pelvis underneath, but keep the chest open. And you can do both sides, of course. Now, if you have a tighter hip on one side, in general, that's most people's left hip, but in tighter hip, do more on the left side. All right, whole femur bone going forward. Don't put the heel down unless afterwards you want to give a calf stretch, but what you want to do is open up the hip. All right, so hips are open. We've done some pelvic tilts. Lower back is loosened. Now you need to warm up your feet, nice and square. Have a little bit of bend in the knee, nice and square. Just keep the pelvis gently under, the tail down, the chest open. Rise up on your toes with bent knees. Hold that for a minute and then go down and do a tread. So I'm treading, one foot is flat, one heel is lifted, and we do a tread. Now if you're not treading regularly, you're not strengthening up your ankles. If you're not strengthening up your ankles, the pelvic floor is not very strong. Strong feet and ankles, strong pelvic floor and abdominal wall. So don't forget, do some treading. And the beautiful thing about treading is it starts working your inner thighs and stabilizes your knee. All right, bit of warming up there. And of course, when you sink your foot, you get a mini calf stretch. If you want more of a calf stretch, do more of a calf stretch lunge. Right, we're ready to go. Let's get our heart rate going. Very simply, you're just going to do step out and together. Out, step, together. So it goes step, step, close, step, step, close. Now I have a little bit of a softness on my knee, because when you don't lock your knees out, you use your stomach muscles more. So I've got a little bend in my knee, pelvis under, and I'm going step, step out. Now this is because when you sit for a long time, your laterals get very weak. And when you sit, it opens up the hips and the buttocks and spreads the back side. Now I've got my bottom underneath and my tail down, so that's wrapped, but now I'm going to strengthen it up. Now being an athlete, of course, I can add some things. You can do a heel hand press like this. That gets your triceps working. But you can bend more and you can eventually go faster. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 2, 1 and 2, 1. Bottom under. Otherwise, 1 and close. 1 and close. Alright, so that gets your heart rate going. Now remember, I asked a lot of you to walk backwards. Don't forget, about 8 steps walking backwards. Yes? Keeping your chest up. Walking backwards, about 8 to 10 steps, and then turn around and go 8. And do laps of walking backwards. But I've got a new one for you. Now, this comes from, I have 2 pieces of cloth on my feet. This comes from I remember giving you, some of you, the choo-choo train. Choo-choo. And we're just sliding the feet slowly. Now the interesting thing about this is my toes and balls of the feet have to stay heavy into the floor while I glide. It really is a slidey glide. And if you have a non-carpeted area, and if you do this, you'll run out of breath. Now, the other thing is you can pretend to dance and slide. Now, because you're sliding your feet, you're having to work your legs and your stomach muscles more. Alright, so you could do that if you did that for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, your fitness and your heart rate will be pumping. Okay, last one, got this one, is you can circle. This is only for those who don't have any hip or knee issues, but you could circle, 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 and it turns your bottom and your legs quite a lot. And a circle, and so you can go the other way as well. But I mean, it's fine to go there. The reason why open and in is good is because it's a comfortable coordination. There we go. Alrighty, and then if you want to, do away with those. Put your favourite music on and just step and do your boogie dancing. Put some arms to it and get your heart rate up that way. What I've suggested today is a safe way of getting your heart rate up without straining your ankles, your knees or your hips, and hopefully you can use that. And you know, you don't then have to stress to get fit. You will get fit by being gentle and consistent if you do your work regularly. Anyway, talk to you soon. We're going to upload these. Apparently for YouTube it can take up to an hour or half a day to upload a video. So we'll get these on for you and I'll text you or send you the link via WhatsApp. All the best. Good luck. Bye.